Welcome back to the Daily Morning Sports Feed on Reds Army, with me as editor Olivia. Today, let's take a look at some notable sports news in the past 24 hours. Thank you for always supporting and accompanying us. Come to the following hot news. Are Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney, other Pricey coaches worth it? Can Cooper Rush keep Cowboys afloat until Dak Prescott returns? Are Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney, other Pricey coaches worth it? Less than 2 weeks before Alabama kicked off its 2022 college football campaign, the university's Board of Trustees approved an extension to Nick Saban's current deal that will run through February 2030 and pay him an average of $11.7 million per year. The deal means that Saban, who has posted a 180-25 record and delivered 6 national titles to Alabama over a 15-year span, is once again the highest-paid coach in college football. Saban is one of several high-profile college football coaches who received mega paydays this offseason. That list includes Georgia's Kirby Smart, 10-year, $112.5 million extension, Clemson's Dabo Swinney, 10-year, $115 million extension, Michigan State's Mel Tucker, 10-year, $95 million extension, and Penn State's James Franklin, 10-year, $70 million extension. Contracts with those types of dollar numbers attached receive mixed reactions across the college athletics landscape. While many fans share their displeasure with the size of current-day coaching contracts, others applaud universities and athletic departments for going above and beyond to keep their coaches in place. Fox Sports college football analyst Joel Klatt is a firm believer that college coaches are indeed worth the big money, stating that a head coach of a football program is the most important hire a university can make. Klatt explained his stance during the latest episode of his new podcast, The Joel Klatt Show. The football program is, in large respect, the identity of the institution, Klatt said. Presidents know that, chancellors know that, athletic directors know that. That identity is important to them. It's all they have. Klatt points to the increase in student enrollment at the University of Alabama since Saban was hired as the school's head coach in 2007, making the argument that there is a direct correlation between the increase in student population and the program's success on the football field. Alabama's student enrollment stood at 25,580 in 2007 and has since increased to 38,645 this fall, per the university. That is an enrollment record for the university, which was boosted by the largest freshman class in school history with 8,037 students. You ask why that is? Klatt questioned. It's because kids all over the country have been watching Alabama in every single big football game for the last decade plus. Why do people go to Alabama? Because Nick Saban and the Tide made it cool. Clemson University, another powerhouse program, has also seen a rapid increase in student population over the past decade plus. When Swinney was named Clemson's interim head coach back in 2008, the university had an enrollment of 18,317 students. Fast forward 14 years and Clemson's student enrollment now sits at 26,406. Since the college football playoff was implemented back in 2014, Clemson and Alabama have combined to win 12 conference titles and 5 national championships. That success on the field is directly tied to the school's coaching salaries. It should serve as no surprise that Swinney sits right behind Saban when it comes to the highest-paid coaches in college football. Yes, it's a lot of money, but these athletic departments are a business, and a big business at that, Klatt said. To have that guy and have the positivity surrounding your university and institution as a whole is invaluable. Why do you pay your coach $11 million? Because in the grand scheme, it's a drop in the bucket when you make a cool quarter bill annually because he made it cool to go there. That sentiment can go both ways, as athletic programs are often forced to make difficult decisions when it comes to letting high-paid coaches go when the football team is not performing up to expectations. This was the case at Nebraska, which fired head coach Scott Frost on Sunday, one day after a 45-42 home loss to Georgia Southern. Had the university waited another 3 weeks before firing Frost, the buyout amount would have dropped from $15 million to $7.5 million. Instead, Nebraska Vice Chancellor for Athletics Trev Alberts told reporters that he needed to make a change now to be fair to the players and others around the program. He, Alberts, had to do that in order to protect that identity, Klatt said of the school's decision to fire Frost after 3 games. He did that, so that he can maintain the positive nature of the fan base and the alumni. The entire sentiment, and the entire feeling of the institution, is tied to the football program. This goes beyond just the current student body, as school alumni and fans are all tied to the positive nature that Klatt references. We know as college football fans that the most important person in a football program is a head coach, Klatt said. When you don't have one, you fall by the wayside. When you fall by the wayside, the identity of your institution begins to fall and crumble with that. The football program is the glue to the entire institution. It's the only place that everyone gets in the gear and goes to celebrate. Football is where everyone comes back. It's where the good feelings come surrounding the university. Can Cooper Rush keep Cowboys afloat until Dak Prescott returns? There's probably a good reason why quarterback Cooper Rush has spent 6 years in the NFL but has made only one start. But what a start it was. Last Halloween, Rush stepped in for Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott and threw for 325 yards in a win at Minnesota. Though it was a memorable performance, it's suddenly being remembered in Dallas like it was the greatest game a backup QB has ever played. And with Prescott injured again, and this time likely out for a month or more after surgery on his right thumb, that game is giving the Cowboys one reason to believe that their entire season isn't already sunk. I think he showed a number of different things that day when he played at Minnesota, said Cowboys offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. When he's had his moment, he's taken advantage of it. When you have a chance to go through one experience with your quarterback, Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy added, Cooper showed us a lot that day. There is no doubt that he did, completing 24 of 40 passes for those 325 yards with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. The big question, though, is, can Rush do it again? And not just this Sunday against the Cincinnati Bengals, but probably for the next 3 games, at least. And here's an even bigger question. Can the 28-year-old do it with a Cowboys team that looks remarkably worse than the one he took over last season? That team was 5-1 coming out of its bye week, on its way to 12-4. It had 2 legitimate number 1 receivers in CeeDee Lamb and the now departed Amari Cooper. Dallas had the best offense in the league. This Cowboys team is not that. They are the only NFL team without a touchdown, after their 19-3 loss at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last Sunday. Even with Prescott playing most of the game, they had only 244 offensive yards. Rush, in his unscheduled cameo, was 7 of 13 for 64 yards. Betting on him to do more than that with this team feels awfully risky. The Cowboys don't need a quarterback to just maintain the status quo and keep them afloat until a healthy Prescott rides to their rescue. Right now, they need a quarterback who can carry them. And that's the big gamble Dallas is taking. Expecting Rush to lead this flawed, struggling offense is an enormous leap of faith. But that one game from last October, their very limited experience with Rush, even though he's been on their team since 2017, sure does have everyone sounding eager to jump. He's really smart, Moore said. He has a great ability to process defenses very quickly and get the ball out of his hands. Ellipsis. His demeanor is really, really good. He handles the ups and downs that you inevitably go through in a season, a game, all those things. I feel like we're fortunate to have a guy like that in this situation. We work every day with Cooper, McCarthy added. He's coach smart. He's got a great disposition for the number 2. There's so much to love about Cooper. Truth be told, the Cowboys don't really have much of a choice. They are in a pickle, stuck between the hope that Prescott will have to miss only 3 games after his surgery on Monday and any desire they might have to make a big, bold move to replace him. The timeline is tricky. The Cowboys decided against putting Prescott on injured reserve, which would have kept him out a minimum of 4 games, a strong indication they believe he can return before that. Even McCarthy wouldn't completely rule out the pursuit of a veteran quarterback eventually. He said first they want to give Prescott 7 to 10 days to heal from the surgery. Then we'll have a clear idea, he said. But now or then, there just aren't many options. They could pursue a trade for 49ers quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, but the price wouldn't be worth it if Prescott's absence is really short-term. They could sign a veteran like Cam Newton or the retired Ryan Fitzpatrick, but anyone they sign would need time to learn the offense and might not be much of an upgrade over Rush or even third-stringer Will Grier. It's unlikely that you'd have a veteran quarterback that could get in here and be ready to play as well as those guys can play, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said on Dallas radio on Tuesday, even if you thought the veteran might have a talent advantage. Which brings the Cowboys back to Rush, the former Central Michigan star who has that one wonderful start on his resume, plus 10 other cameos in his 6 NFL seasons in which he's thrown 23 other NFL passes, 13 of which came on Sunday night. The Cowboys thought so highly of him that they cut him at the end of training camp and placed him on the practice squad. Now, of course, they love him. Because they have no choice. Let's not hit the panic button. As if we just can't do anything on offense, Prescott said on Sunday night. We have a great coaching staff. They'll get back in there, and they'll find the things that we did well. Our coaching staff will find the best position and best spot to put Cooper Rush in every game. It's very disappointing to lose your starting quarterback, McCarthy said. It's extremely disappointing to lose Doc. But the reality is we need to go beat Cincinnati, and Cooper has the reins. And those are also the most outstanding morning news today. Thank you to everyone for listening and following redsarmy's daily news. If you find the video interesting and useful, please click like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the latest sports news.